The conversation surrounding Las Vegas's decline has gone mainstream. So we're going to look at some comments in a Yahoo Finance article to get the real story. I literally just got back from Vegas. Two things that stood out. One, I stopped to get a bottle of water at the gas station by the airport. I use a debit card and they charged me a fee to use the card. Two, the two of us could never eat at a price I thought was a value proposition. Every meal was $75 to $100. In the last century, we visited Las Vegas twice a year. There were great buffets. The casinos had large themes, free parking, moderate room prices, slots were reasonable, and good shows. Now all of that is gone. No more buffets, themes taken down, costly parking, big add ons to room rates. Greed killed the goose that laid the golden egg, outrageous pricing, and ridiculous fees. I thought this comment was especially interesting. I'm an organizer of a small gaming convention that went to Las Vegas every year for 21 years. You'll notice if you read through these comments that one of the themes is that there are many people who were repeat visitors to Las Vegas who no longer visit. The comment continues, but 2019 was the last year we held our annual meetup. It's just gotten far too expensive, not only for our attendees, but also for the convention itself. Like, seriously, $75 for each electrical outlet we use in a meeting room where we're already paying tens of thousands of dollars. So I think that's a sign, right? Like if you're the casino and you're deciding, hey, we should go ahead and charge them $75 for each electrical outlet. They're already paying tens of thousands of dollars, but let's go ahead and tack on those electrical outlets. That's a sign that you're about to have a real downturn. And so when I'm reading through these comments, what it makes me think of is an economic concept called the tragedy of commons. So, per Wikipedia, the tragedy of commons is the concept that if many people enjoy unfettered access to a finite valuable resource such as a pasture, they will tend to overuse it and may end up destroying its value altogether. So I think here we have the casinos, and they have access to these willing visitors who want to visit their city and they want to gamble and they want to have a good time. They are willing to knowingly exchange gambling losses for the entertainment value. And what's happened is that Las Vegas has optimized its revenue, right, its profits to the point that they are destroying the valuable resource. The people that come in droves every year to Las Vegas no longer do so because the casinos have taken out all of the value, right? They've looked at every turn and decided how to optimize extracting as much money from the visitors to Las Vegas, and eventually the visitors reached a point to where there wasn't really a good reason to visit because it's not fun anymore. It's too expensive. I used to be able to go have an entertaining time, and I can't do that anymore because now you're charging me a debit card fee to buy bottled water. Now you're charging me $75 to use an electrical outlet. And I know the example of someone who is hosting a convention is not the normal Las Vegas visitor, but here we do have an exorbitant rate that is typifying the Las Vegas experience. So let's go through a few more comments. Um, let's see here. I stopped visiting Las Vegas this year. It's mostly because of gas prices. This can all be chalked up to corporate greed by all the casinos. Vegas has overpriced themselves away from their original clientele, the common people. Let's see. Here's a really good comment. I live in driving distance from Las Vegas, and what seems like not too long ago, I could go and gamble and lose some money. It was okay though because the rooms were $50 to $60 for a decent room, $30 to $40 on the weekends. You could grab a buffet. It was $1.50 hot dog, $1.50 beers, and just you could walk around and take in the sights. And this commenter continues, "Who wants to spend so much money now on stingy machines, parking fees, resort fees, and ridiculous prices for mediocre food?" So another good point here could be the lack of payouts by slot machines. Now I haven't kept track of slot machines, but with all of this optimization, Casinos have probably optimized how much they are paying out, or they think they've optimized how much they're paying out. And so, if I'm the casino, I'm going to pay out more to attract more people to my casino. If you don't try to take every last dollar and you make it to where there's something inviting, then more people are going to be willing to visit. But if you try to extract every last dollar and you're only going to meet certain regulatory minimums on payouts, which are already quite low, and you know that so much of your clientele is already losing money, beyond just the addiction of pulling the slot machine, what is there? If someone's not winning, eventually many people are just going to stop playing. Let's see here. I went to Vegas for 20 years in a row and have not been back since 2019. 2019 has come up multiple times. Prices are too high, fees to park and other fees increase room rates by over $100 in many cases. Food is expensive. Gambling minimums have gone through the roof. So that's another point. I've heard that too before. The reason I'm making this video is because I've heard about this subject multiple times. One time was Bill Simmons mentioning it his on a podcast that they had covered a segment on this. This is here we have the fees to park, yeah, parking fees, taking you really taking yourself out of. You're making it too difficult for people to actually patronize your casino. If you put that much friction, eventually it won't be long until people just decide they don't want to deal with it anymore. And then the increase in room rates, and then you have the extra tack on fees. It all adds up to where you can think you have a subtle marketing technique where you're separating it out, you're making the price look lower, and it's just an add-on fee, and it's not actually the room fee. But people are going to catch on eventually. Here we have the gambling minimums being another point I wanted to get to. It used to be easier to gamble in Las Vegas. Now there are certain minimums for every table, and so you can't just be your casual gambler that just wanted to sit at a roulette table or sit at a blackjack table and play. Now you've upped the ante for them. And I used to go. I've been to Las Vegas 6 or 7 times, I think. But the last time I went was in the early 2010s, and I haven't been back, and I haven't heard of a reason for me to go back. Another detractor for me is the sanitization of Las Vegas. And what I mean is that it's lost its authenticity. It no longer has an organic feel. To me, it has a very much a sterile feel, a somewhat of a cold feel, in that everything is already predetermined. It's not, it's very predictable now. And that used to, even when I would go, even before 2010, there was a completely distinct feel from what I get today. Also, the last time I remember going, it was difficult to walk on the strip because you had to keep going up and over, or there were different aisleways. And really what happened was the street was blocked off from the sidewalk. So it was just difficult to move back and forth to go to the different casinos. So again, you keep looking at this. What this overarching theme is: we're making it difficult for people to patronize our casinos. You keep doing that, and then eventually it just shuts people off. Another comment: $10 for coffee, $30 for water, $30 a night to park. I got a burger, fries, and Coke recently on the strip. Nothing special. $50. The price gouging is out of control. How much longer did you think you were going to be able to keep this up before people were just not going to come anymore? Let's see. They forgot to mention many of the restaurants are sneaking an extra charge onto your bill in the form of a service charge. Yeah, so the fees, right? Here's another fee, and here's a fee to have a fee. It eventually, it might work initially. You might, and I think what we see here is some creeping in of the charges, and initially you can get away with it, right? Like, especially if the value is good, then the value is still going to be there, and so people keep coming back. But if you keep encroaching on that line, eventually you're going to cross it, and that's what we're seeing now. People are repelled. It's now a mainstream conversation, and you've done it to yourself, right? The tragedy of the commons: you had this very valuable resource, but all of the casinos could not help themselves, and they just kept taking from it, to the point where Now, what if you've destroyed it? What if there is no coming back? Because people know you've been ripping them off now. It's common knowledge. You can see it coming across in the comments, and it doesn't really take the comment section. All you have to do is go and experience it for yourself, and then you ask yourself, "Well, do I want to subject myself to that? I'm not. This is no longer to where I'm out having a good time and just going around and visiting Las Vegas, gambling, and uh, trying different food and drinks and seeing shows. It's no longer that carefree trip. It's completely different now. It's like everything. You've turned every transaction into a real business decision with real implications. If a meal is $40 to $50, that's going to prevent people from coming and patronizing your casino. Another comment: casinos got way too greedy, and patrons are finally waking up. The Hard Rock in Tampa tried the paying for parking nonsense. Within a year, they got rid of that. They also attempted to rip off patrons with other nonsense like that, and it has also backfired on them. Let's continue on. Me and my wife just returned from Vegas 2 days ago. And by the way, many of these comments are from July of 2025. Uh, yep, higher prices for everything, meals. There isn't any place to eat after 3 p.m. That's another complaint I've come across. I saw this on a stream recently where someone couldn't find food late at night, and you would think with Las Vegas being Las Vegas, there would be restaurants that were open and serving people after hours or at least later into the evening. But here, this person continues, unless you want fast food. We noticed that when we compared to last year, there just wasn't the people there. Used to be the strip was crowded after just 10 a.m. At 4 to 5 p.m., it was the same. No crowds like in the past. Charge you a resort fee, but most people never use what they're charged for. Slots as tight as can be. Oh, that's another one. That's another strike against the slot machines. Slot machines are free. They're free money for the casinos. So if just adjust your calculations so that you pay out a little bit more, so people have a more enjoyable time while they're pulling slots. We both thought this was going to be the worst trip we ever had out there, and we've been going for 20 years. They better change, or they'll have to reinvent themselves. Another comment: when off strip hotels charge a $51 resort fee with absolutely zero amenities, this is what happens. It looks like this is coming from all angles. Las Vegas has become a bastion of corporate greed. We went to Las Vegas at least twice per year for 30 years. On our last trip in 2019, this is telling. Another trip in 2019. It must have been 2019 was the turning point. I got a quick fast food lunch and the price tag was $55. It has just gotten ridiculous. I have absolutely zero plans to return. Gouging loyal customers is not a winning strategy. Let's just a few more comments, because I mean this is over and over again, right? We don't even see any comments that say I had such a great time. It was great value, and we don't see that. And when you have this much of a landslide, this is a consensus. I haven't come across one comment that was positive in Las Vegas's favor. Let's see. The whole city is designed to separate you from your money. It was somewhat nice when classy people frequented it and dressed nicely. Now it is like a slum. So a slightly different comment there. Um, I've been, I am what they call a local. Been living in Las Vegas for 30 years. Met some relatives at a Wynn hotel for breakfast. Wanted $29 for a small waffle. Went there in the 90s. All the free beer I could drink, free cigarettes too, as long as I stayed on the slot machine and spent money. Cheap, all you can eat buffets everywhere. I don't know what it's like anymore though. Doesn't sound like the old Las Vegas. It's definitely not. Not even when I visited initially in the late 2000s. Resort fees, overpriced cost of drinks, food has really taken the luster off the Las Vegas experience. Gambling in Vegas was justified by losses at the machines or tables because the rooms were affordable and the drinks cheap. Now it's not the case. Need to return to a different business model. That's what I was getting at. It's like people were willing to go, and they were traveling to Las Vegas for the entertainment, trading off known losses. People know they're going to lose money, and that wasn't enough. And the casinos had to keep taking, and they had to keep taking. Now we see um, Slot machines not paying out. We see resort fees. We see the cost of food and drink um, reaching exorbitant levels, uh, and it just keeps continuing. And at some point, like, you had to know that you are going to lose all of these all of these consumers. And so now there's this reputation that exists, and it's extremely problematic for Las Vegas. And the theme here is telling, right? We see it over and over again. I'll link to this article in the description, but I wanted to cover this. I had heard about the story. I haven't been in a while, but it's not working out for Las Vegas. As multiple people have said, they need to return to a different business model, and they need to look at what brought people to Las Vegas to begin with. It wasn't what it exists now, and visit your own casino and just go on a trip and see how you like it. See if you like uh, having to pay ultra premiums. I don't. It's beyond ultra premiums. Just prices that are absurd at every turn, and it really just makes the experience disappointing. So I'll link to this article in the description. If there are any updates, I will include those in the description as well.